Hello there, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Rise Up America. Let me see if I can sit up straighter here. Anyway, shall we begin? We're going to go into liberal fascism. Liberal fascism. And what that is it is a people ruled by a government with harsh government controls. Give me a minute and I will read the Merriam-Webster dictionary's definition. 1 second here. Anyway, folks. So what I have here is, you can see it for yourself if I can get it up there. And anyway, in case you weren't able to read that, definition of fascism for English language learners: a way of organizing a society in which a government ruled by a dictator controls the lives of the people and in which people are not allowed to disagree with the government. Very harsh control of authority. Okay. Now here's the actual description. So let's begin here. The actual description is, where'd it go? It left me. Here we go. Fascism, definition of fascism for students: a political system headed by a dictator in which the government controls business and labor and opposition is not permitted. Okay. So we can actually kind of talk about possibly China. We can also talk about Iran. There are a couple other places we could talk about. One thing I want to note is most every liberal in our government, in the United States government today, is they're not who they say they are. Just for instance, you got a Cuck Todd. Well, I'm sorry, that's the media. We got Bernie Sanders, who is a self-proclaimed socialist. But over the years, the Democratic Party, I believe, has slowly either sold their soul to the devil, or simply has kind of came apart, it seems, and become a completely and totally different party than they used to be. I don't recall a time in my life, I'm 51, I don't recall a time in my life where, you know, up until this election, where the Democrats were just angrily disagreeing with everything the officially elected by the people of the United States president. This is like the toughest time. And so the Democrats, they're no longer really Democrats. When you look at it, they are liberal, and they're very liberal. But liberal, for the meaning of liberal, it's not really the way the liberals are taking it, or the so-called liberals are taking it. Shall we look up liberal? Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go, we'll go ahead and just do this. Okay, so liberal. Alright, here is what the definition of liberal is. Definition of liberal: A, of relating to or based on the liberal arts, liberal education, archaic of or befitting a man or free birth, marked by generosity, open-handed, a liberal giver. B, given or provided in a generous and open-handed way, a liberal meal, ample, full, absolute, lacking moral restraint, licentious, not literal or strict, loose, a liberal translation, broad-minded, especially not bound by authoritarianism, orthodoxy or traditional forms A. Of favoring or based upon the principles of liberalism, capitalized of or constituting a political party, advocating or associated with principles of political liberalism, especially of or constituting a political party in the United Kingdom associated with ideals of individuals, especially economic freedom, greater individual participation in government, and constitutional, political, and administrative reforms designed to secure these objectives. Okay, so as you can see by the definition, the two definitions, fascism and liberalism is quite a bit different actually even than fascism. Whether you like that definition or not, it is the truth. You look at all of what the Democrats, the so-called Democrats in the United States are doing. Okay, and I happen to live in Michigan, and I know for a fact that some of our Democratic government officials here in Michigan, they may be part of the socialist or the Socialist Party. I might as well call it socialist for this point forward until I get to the actual end point here. Anyway, this is simply put, our Democratic Party has lost their way absolutely completely, and it was even on the news. In fact, it was featured on an ABC News poll that the Democrats have they're just not even in touch with the American people, hardly at all. They got an extremely poor rating, and this is an ABC News poll or an ABC poll at some point. So you go figure. They slammed perhaps unintentionally, but they slammed the Democrats on that poll. Ouch, that must have hurt. Anyway, so from here on out, you liberals they're no longer Democrats. I would guess in reading the two descriptions for you, we can't call them liberal anymore, because they become ungenerous. They're looking to get their own way, and they're looking for power only. They're not looking to help you or I or anyone else. They've become lost in their ways. So from here on out, the Liberal Party or the Democratic Party is now referred to as fascists. Simply put, I believe groups like the Antifa and some of these other groups, they are paid protesters, and they are paid most likely by George Soros. So we've got to understand, the meaning behind his criticisms when the so-called Democrats, when they push to have this and that and investigated and all this other stuff. As if, for instance, they went after Fox News, the so-called liberals. Let's call them fascists for now. They are the fascist party. They went after Bill O'Reilly, who may and may not have, had issues or may and may not have discriminated, sexually against somebody. But now they're going after Sean Hannity, and a lot of you and myself, we absolutely know deep down, or are quite sure deep down, Sean Hannity is not guilty of a single thing. Yes, he's been hard on the Democrats, but that's, to his credit, that's his show, and he's allowed to do that. That's his place. So we have to watch ourselves when people go after President Trump and his administration or his family. And we also have to watch, we have to be very careful of what the fascists, the Democratic fascists, or so-called Democrats, we're going to go with fascists, what they deem inappropriate, what they deem, they always want someone fired. over the littlest things sometimes. It's absolutely insane. They wanted President Trump to fire Sean Spicer. And that ain't likely to happen. Because, number one, President Trump knows that Spicer is an attack dog to the media. And, I mean, Sean Spicer will play nice as long as you don't, as long as you feed him correctly. Anyway, so things like we've got to do all we can to protect the conservative voices here. With Sean Hannity being attacked verbally, you know, this won't stop. The fascists will not stop. They will stop at nothing to destroy conservative voices. It's on. They've declared war on conservative voices. And let's all help Sean Hannity. Reach out however you can. Sean Hannity, if we have to get some petitions going via petitions.whitehouse.gov, let's get them going, alright? Just remember, fascism in America cannot stand. Fascism in America cannot stand. Fascism in America cannot stand. So, all my family, friends, subscribers, rise up America. Let's go. Alright? Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. Stay tuned for a new video soon.